Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers, and this is part 89 of the story of creation. So let's see who's showing up from the universal side today. So it's interesting, actually, because we've got a lot of souls. So what they're showing me is all the human souls are showing up. Now, when I say all, and you may be thinking, how do you know my soul is showing up? So they want me to share with you that back in 2010, between 2010 and 2011, I was in a significant personal transformation. And at that time, I was learning how to hold space, hold energy, hold the possibility for transformation for other humans. So I was learning how to go from holding space for 100,000 people to millions. And then ultimately, through the years, I've learned how to hold space for the entire population at one time. Now, what does that mean? It ultimately means I understand how universal energy works, how soul energy works, and I understand how to allow that soul wisdom and universal information to travel into physical form, into physical space. And how are they showing me? They're showing me that I understand how to allow it to become part of the physical essence of who you are. So what that means and what happens is basically your cells change vibration. They change frequency. So what is happening as they're changing that frequency and vibration is now they're communicating differently with your soul and with the universe. And so my job universally, which is interesting because I wouldn't share this typically. So they're throwing me in with the live audience going, here, share this today in this way. So it's super fun. So ultimately, what happens is my body becomes the conduit so that the way they're showing, it's like I allow my body to become balanced with the energy, and then it's then passed on to other human souls. So your physical form is receiving it from your soul after it's been calibrated through me. That's the word, recalibrated. And so ultimately what happens is by the time you pick it up, it's allowing it to be more comfortable, more appealing is the word that they're using. And so that's been my role in the backside of what I've been doing for the last really 15, 20 years, and learning how to do that for mass amounts of people at one time. And it took time, it took patience, it took effort, significant effort, because I had to understand how energy works. I had to understand how universal energy works and how universal energy is different from soul energy, is different from physical energy, but also how to bring the three together and allow them to communicate with each other in a way that transcends time and space. And that's why when the creator is saying right now, he says, that's why you were the one to share the story of creation, because you understand it's not that I'm the only one doing this, okay? That's also really important. I'm the only one doing it in this way for this role, because that's my mission here on earth, okay? But it's understanding that as I have fed this, right? So I have nurtured whatever they've shown me. They're saying, this is what you're going to do next. And I didn't understand the big picture. I didn't need to. What I needed to focus on was each step in the moment. And now we're at this place where, the creator is saying, that's why I chose you and asked you to participate in sharing the story of creation, so that you would be able to hold the energy as well as the words and creating visuals, but I would be able to hold the energy to make the truth more accessible. And that's the point. It's understanding that truth has an extremely high vibration that is universal in nature. And what happens is we've been taught that that vibration is uncomfortable. And we've all been taught to be scared of that natural, that vibration, that frequency, that energy. Okay. So we've been taught, I don't want to know the truth. I want to run from the truth. I want to hide from the truth. I remember years ago, this is like 18 years ago, and I was I was at a trade show, and it was like a healing energy and healthy living. And this woman came up and she said, like, what do you do? And I just said, well, I talk to people's souls, and I, give them the information from their soul. And she looked at me and went, oh my gosh, I don't want to know what my soul has to say about me. And did a turn, like about face, and like beelined as fast as she could out of there. And it was in that moment that I went, people are that scared of judgment. They're that scared of the life they've lived, and they're carrying that much shame that they think that their soul is judging them. And that propelled me into 18 years of exploring and working with people on such a deep level to help them understand, that the world isn't here judging you. The creator isn't here judging you. This is why when I tell you the creator is on your side, the entire universe is there to support you, to offer the resources that they have, right? The creator isn't up there going, you didn't do a very good job there. No, think again, right? That's the human side of us. That's the human conditioning that we've received through generations of manipulation and control. But it's not who we are. And it certainly isn't through who the creator is. And that's what he wants to talk about today, is understanding and recognizing that this is where his goal today is for you to understand that truth is powerful. It is not demonizing. It is not demeaning. Truth is freedom. And this is why. This is what he wants you to know and understand about yourself. You're here. Your existence is based on his understanding of what the entire universal experience needs. And not because you have to do anything. He didn't create you with a burden on your back saying, this is your job, go do it, right? He created you with the vision and the wisdom and the potential to feed the creation of existence. And he gave you free will. You can do whatever you want. But knowing that his goal is that you'll feed your soul. You'll nurture yourself. Because you're self-healing, you're self-governing. All of these things are created as aspects of who you are. And it's understanding that this dichotomy, this dynamic of duality is ridiculous, because there's no such thing. Truth is the purity of a recollection of existence. It doesn't have a perspective. It doesn't have someone's view or someone's opinion. The creator doesn't even have an opinion on it. He says it is what it is in existence. And if you want to experience something different, go ahead. That's what he's saying. It's not an understanding that these are the rules and you must conform to them and perform in guidelines, because those guidelines don't exist. And he says, this is where we're going to talk about religion. This is where we're going to talk about understanding that Jesus, and Jesus is here as well, But the Creator is speaking now. And he's saying, Jesus came into human form one time and one time only, because his intention was that he could trigger the remembering of human existence. He could trigger it. He believed he could, and he came in. But his life was tumultuous at best. And what the Creator, again, this is all from the Creator, and what he's saying is what Jesus didn't take into account because of his excitement, his intention, his awareness, and what he wanted to accomplish in the life that he came in to live. His goal was to help humanity remember the truth of their origins. He genuinely did not believe that humanity had become so disconnected from feeling, from recognizing truth. Because feeling and recognizing truth go hand in hand. They're partners. That's why you feel, so you can experience truth, so you can realize the truth of any given moment. The only reason humanity does not want to experience truth is because we are consumed with judgment. Judgment of ourselves, consistently pouring judgment into the world, has fed our terror of receiving judgment in return. And ultimately, this judgment is the most widely exchanged commodity in human existence. It's the most widely used currency that people believe will give them what they need to succeed. And this judgment and jealousy is what caused Jesus's journey to end in disappointment for him, right? Jesus was disappointed because ultimately, and this is where Jesus is speaking, but the Creator is very right up front today. Like, he wants you to understand that this is coming from him. And Jesus is participating because they've chosen to do this together. This is really, really important. Why? Because most people don't believe that that the Creator will speak so freely, A, B, that the Creator will speak directly to them, and that the Creator is so accessible, right? So many people, he says, put me on this pedestal and treat me like I am the judge of their existence, that they can't get close enough. But mostly it's because they don't want to get close enough because they're terrified that I'm going to judge them if they get any closer. And that's the illusion that religion created. And it continues to carry. Religion holds you separate from me. That's what the Creator says. Religion holds you separate from the Creator. Just feel that. And it was designed to do that. But why would anyone want to separate you from your Creator? Just think about that. That's like someone wanting to separate a mother from a child. Feel the depths of that. And the pain and the suffering that has occurred in human existence as a result. The Creator says, I'm not alone, and you're not alone. And he says, this is what yesterday's ceremony, we recorded part 88 yesterday. This is what yesterday's ceremony was about. It was about preparing you to hear this truth with an open heart and a willingness to understand that you're not alone, but that you have to stop fighting against yourself. Because until that dynamic ends, humanity can't heal. It can't move forward. You're fighting against yourself constantly. Every time you judge, every time you compare, every time you believe someone else is doing something more important or more invaluable than you are. Why? Because then you're focused on what they're doing. You're not focused on what you're doing, or you're focused on what you're not doing. How can you go and contribute to existence like you're supposed to, like you're meant to? And again, supposed to and meant to is not like it's a job. It's understanding that that is the only thing that will give you the fulfillment you're searching for. And this distance, this disconnection from your home, your heart, your roots, from me, the Creator, your disconnection is your disconnection from creation itself, from your ability to feel, from your ability to recognize, but also acknowledge that you can feel. And through that feeling, everything in existence, all the wisdom in existence is yours. And this is why they don't want you to remember how to feel. Because the moment you remember how to feel, your power comes back. Because you have full awareness of existence, of the universe, and how everything works. You have full awareness of those who are choosing to manipulate and control. And you also understand how to overcome them instantaneously. It's not about how do we take them down. It becomes, oh, that's how they won't exist anymore. It becomes instantaneous. That's the power of truth. And it's the power that every single human in existence holds, has the ability to receive and carry and feel and recognize and walk through life with truth as your guide. Why would you want to walk through life with truth as your guide? Because you will never want for any information. The most important thing you need as a human, as a soul, and as a universal being, the most important thing you need as any of those is information about existence, about yourself, about what you're interested in existence, anything and everything. And it's right there. And the Creator, he says, this is the healing he wants to offer. And it's rare for him to offer healing. It's rare for him to personally shift existence. And today, he wants you to feel this energy. He wants you to understand, and he's amplifying the energy. So just allowing yourself to feel, just breathe. Just slowly breathe. And what he says is, this energy is the energy of your soul. It's the energy of my soul. as your creator. It's the energy of the soul of the universe. And they all flow through you. They're all a part of you, just like I created. And no one can take that away from you. No one can remove it. No one can blind you to it. But you have to want to see it, because that's free will. And that's the reason I infused free will into existence, so that you could choose whatever it is you want to experience in your life. And for you to experience truth, because it is an experience, it's not just words. It's an experience. It's energy that's based on the frequency and vibration that is calibrated directly to universal truth. This is why there's no such thing as my truth and your truth. There is the truth, and either you see it or you don't. And the intention is that you're expanding continuously to retrieve the fullest expression of truth. That's where we are as a human race. That's where we are in this human evolution, this rebirth. The universe is restructuring itself to ensure that your capacity to feel truth, to recognize truth, to understand truth comes directly to you. You signed up. He says, when he offered me 12 years ago, God, it's a lot more than that, 14, 15 years ago. I have a 12-year-old son. That's how I can. And he said when they did that, they did a ceremony when I had learned to raise my vibration, and every single human soul in existence. So you have to understand that only 3 to 4% of human souls are currently incarnate. So 8 billion people, that's just 3 to 4% of the human souls in existence. But every human soul in existence came to this ceremony, and they offered me a piece of their soul. Not because I needed it or I wanted it, but because they wanted me to hold it, so that when you heard these words, a piece of you would be vibrating in that energy. So you would recognize through your own vibration that not only is there truth, but it would reignite your hope. It would reignite your ability to recognize you're not alone, and that there is a way out of this. And so the Creator says, and so with this knowledge, with this information, with this experience, he says, I want you to remember, first and foremost, that your soul is here for a reason, as part of existence. And your job is to explore it, to have fun, to uncover what it is. It should be like opening a present every single day. That you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, I can do that too. Oh, that's so cool. Maybe I can do that. Just thinking about what you're capable of should feel like a gift. That's where we're going. We're going back to that place where humanity feels its roots, where you can recognize the truth of your own existence and hold that as your guide, as your compass, as your inner knowing that allows you to say the things that your heart wants to say, to do the things that your heart wants to do, and to become the person that your heart knows you're meant to become. Why? Because the universe benefits. The entire universe benefits when you become you. Right now, you're just covered up with a whole bunch of all these beliefs. It's kind of like you're underneath a pile of dirty rags. And every one of those rags that you pick up, it's an old belief that doesn't belong to you. Someone else gave it to you. And you picked it up and you put it on your pile and you kept it there. And the Creator says it's time. It's time to release all of these beliefs. Let them go. Let them become exactly what they're supposed to be. They're part of your past. They're part of consciousness. They're part of your experience as a human soul. And you recognize and understand that those experiences were to bring you to this moment right now, today, where you recognize that you're an integral part of creation, where you're willing to transcend the fears and the judgment and the beliefs that leave you lacking so that you can become who you're meant to be. If you want help together, the Creator says he and I, we created a program called Heal Your Self-Worth, and it is a 1-year journey. You can try that. If you want to get to know your soul, there's a 12-week program. He says the reason we came together and partnered was so that I could bring this awareness back to the human side. But I studied it all first. He's showing me, I was picked up and dipped, like an ice cream cone dipped in the chocolate coating. I was picked up and dipped in every aspect of consciousness that they asked, that they wanted me to experience, to know, to learn, to understand, so that you would benefit, so that you could find your way. Because we don't all need to be out there searching for answers to everything. It's you getting what you need so you can fulfill what you came here to do. Right? We've got people who understand the human body for healing. They have that wisdom. You don't need to have that wisdom. You can just go ask them. That's the whole point. Right? We have other people who are creating experiences that transcend body, mind, soul, through music, through art, through every aspect of being. You don't have to go learn those things. You can go and experience them. You'll know what you're meant to do because you literally could do it 24 hours a day and know it still feeds your soul. That's what you're meant to be doing. We're meant to do this together because we all have gifts. We all have power. We all have natural abilities and interests that are literally what steer us and drive us to expanding consciousness. And we are not meant to do this alone. But it is also understanding we're not meant to take other people's opinions and judgments with us along the way. So this is the time of discernment. This is the time of reflection, of looking through your life and recognizing the choices that you've made, the people that you walk your path with, and recognizing how they make you feel. Do they encourage you to feel the truth of who you are? Or are they more comfortable with you staying in judgment of yourself? And this is the decisions that we have to make now, going into 2026, into that new year, going into revelations about recognition. It's time to leave the religious dogma behind and recognize and understand that you are your leader. You're the one who will lead you into the life that you're meant to. You're meant to experience, you're meant to have, you're meant to do. But you have to walk with a level of integrity, a level of participation that transcends Fear. And truth has the ability to do that. And that's why he wanted you. He says, that's why I wanted you to feel that level of truth today. I encourage you to go back and listen, he says, as many times as you need to feel that vibration and level of truth, that frequency. Because it's in the simple intention of connecting with the highest frequency of truth in the universe that will naturally and simply bring it to you. It will break down barriers. And it doesn't mean it will always be comfortable, because anything in your life that is not truth is going to be revealed. But again, freedom is on the other side of every single one of those not truths. Thank you so much. I will see you next time for the story of creation. Bye for now.